be linked to the number of doctorates per million population. And I would like everyone to now register in their mind that IITs like Madras, Bombay, Kharagpur, Kanpur, Delhi, all of them have now postgraduate students more than undergraduate students. So IITs are no longer only undergraduate institutions, they are becoming now dominantly postgraduate institutions. China has demonstrated its capabilities of graduating an extraordinary number of doctorates, resulting in a quantum jump in publications in learned journals. Many of you may not know, but 10 years ago, we were more than China. But today, China is way above our total number of publications in learned journals. No form of research is as rewarding as in an academic institutions where our doctoral students, even master's students, work for more than 70 hours a week and never recognize any holiday, weekends. I mean, they are working all the time. And those who live in the campus, as all of them here, I think it is a very exhilarating experience to work all the time. I should like to congratulate all who are graduating today and entering a new world. IIT believes in a strong relationship with alumni, and we trust that you will reciprocate our endeavors. There is a need to build our corpus so that we can have greater freedom in utilizing our resources. We appeal to all philanthropists, alumni, well-wishers to contribute generously to our corpus. It's a real pleasure to have our alumnus, Professor Subra Suresh, with us today, and I know that you are very keenly looking forward to hear him. May I now request Professor Subra Suresh to address this convocation.
Good afternoon. I want to offer my sincere congratulations to all the graduates. Even more importantly, I would like to offer my congratulations to the family members who are sitting here. For all the sacrifices you have made to see your son or daughter graduate from here, or your grandson or granddaughter graduated from here today. So congratulations to all of you. It's very ironic that people who give convocation addresses usually stand up and look at hundreds or thousands of graduates who are dressed identically in caps and gowns and tell them that individuality is the key to success. But that's not what I'm going to tell you today. I'm really grateful for this opportunity to return to the beautiful campus of IIT Madras. 36 years after my graduation with a Bachelor of Technology degree in Mechanical Engineering. If you have a degree in mechanical engineering, especially from IIT, you can do anything. It's also my great pleasure and honor to be with you to celebrate the 50th convocation of this very prestigious institution, whose alumni have made highly influential contributions to India and to the world. I arrived at this campus in 1972 at the age of 16, and my 5 years here shaped my values, my perspectives, my character, and my career. Those 5 years prepared me well for many subsequent challenges. For graduate education at Iowa State University and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, for postgraduate fellowship at the University of California at Berkeley, to be the first Indian origin professor of engineering at Brown University in Rhode Island, to be the dean of the engineering school at MIT, and the first Asia-born dean of any of the 5 schools within MIT, for taking on President Barack Obama's invitation to move to Washington, D.C., to lead the U.S. National Science Foundation. It was a great privilege to lead this research funding agency with an annual budget of $7 billion. NSF, founded in 1950, is only a little bit older than IIT Madras. And in that time, it has supported 201 Nobel Prize winning scientists and engineers, or 35% of all those who have won Nobel Prizes since 1950. Now, as of this month, I am president of Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a university with deep strengths in science and technology, business, policy, arts, design, and humanities. I am delighted to be back at my alma mater in Chennai on my very first trip as the president of Carnegie Mellon University. So by now, all of you are assured that my Chennai accent has survived, unaltered by my experiences in Iowa, Massachusetts, California, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania. So there is a strong influence that you have from here. Much has changed in the world, and much has changed in India since I left IIT Madras. Most of you sitting in this room were born after 1977. So let me set the stage for you. What was happening in the world in 1977? Deng Xiaoping became the leader of China, igniting an economic revolution. China, which was not at all a major economic force on the world stage in 1977, is now the second largest economy on the planet. And it's forecast that in about 10 to 15 years, it'll be the largest economy in the world. Jimmy Carter was sworn in as the President of the United States. 2 young men started a company called Apple Computer in a California garage. The then tallest buildings in the world were opened in New York City, the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. Of course, 9/11 in 2001 changed their history and world events significantly. The movie Star Wars was released, and it became the highest money-making film of all time. Orlando Bloom and Kanye West were born that year, and Elvis Presley died. I see some Elvis Presley fans here. What was happening in India in 1977? Morarji Desai became Prime Minister following Indira Gandhi's defeat at the general elections, and the first non-Congress government took office in 1977. Television arrived in Chennai in 1976. I was in Tapti Hostel. IIT's Tapti Hostel purchased. So I'm slowly moving from that side to this side. So IIT's Tapti Hostel purchased its first black and white television just a few months before I graduated in 1977. So I belong to the very last batch that grew up without television. There were, of course, no personal computers, no mobile devices, no internet. A 1-minute telephone call between the US and India cost about $4 in 1977 dollars. More than 10,000 people died when a cyclone ravaged India's southeast coast in November. A large number of IIT Madras graduates of my batch, more than 80%, left India for higher studies in the United States that year. And listen to this. More than 65% of India's current population of 1.2 billion people was born after I graduated from IIT Madras. So a great deal has changed and is still changing. And the pace of change seems to be getting faster all the time. Research and education are igniting innovation all over the world. You, as young engineers or scientists, are not only living through this change, you are leading it and embodying it by choosing a career in science, technology, business, or related fields. Since its inception more than 5 decades ago, IIT Madras has been an important catalyst for change and one of the key connections into the worldwide knowledge community. It will continue to be so. India needs this institution, and the world needs it. We are all interconnected globally today in ways that I certainly could not have imagined in 1977. The flattening of the world by the internet has opened up new opportunities, and it is arguably the greatest anti-poverty tool, the great equalizer ever invented. It is providing instant access to information to people from all walks of life and from all corners of the globe. It is one of the technological advances that made possible the emergence of India as a global economic power and created a new middle class of several 100 million people with access to higher education anywhere in the world and access to international travel to any destination in the world. This year, 165 Indian students are studying for their undergraduate degrees at Carnegie Mellon University. There were only 7 students in 1977 at the undergraduate level from India. And in that time, opportunities for well-prepared engineers have skyrocketed, both in India and around the world, and they will continue to grow. So information and communications technologies are opening doors for billions to seize new opportunities across the entire spectrum of human action and thought. As new ideas take hold in one sphere, they have an impact that ripples across many others. For example, advances in computer science made it possible to map the human genome, which in turn has generated new tools for medical diagnosis and treatment, and has opened new intellectual domains in personalized healthcare and big data. Big data analytics are already changing how we learn, what we buy, how we travel, and how we govern ourselves. But such inventions have wide-ranging consequences which often escape the short-term focus of society. This is a true story. In 1850, a few years after the legendary inventor Michael Faraday produced electricity for the first time in his lab in London, the then Chancellor of the Exchequer, the politician William Gladstone, he was a skeptic. He asked him, "Mr. Faraday, what is the value of your new invention of electricity?" This is what Gladstone asked. Mr. Faraday responded, "Sir, one day you will tax it." And tax they did. The taxes received by government based on the invention of electricity is enormous, and it's increasing all the time. Faraday's witty answer to Gladstone points to one important lesson about technologies. We are often not good at predicting the full range of their effects, especially when, as is all too common, short-term priorities override long-term analysis. There are countless examples of this unpredictability in the history of technology. To take but one example from the headlines of today, social media sites were designed to connect friends around shared interests. No one imagined these sites would also fuel civic political action and ignite social movements from Cairo to Beijing. No part of the world is immune from these Twitter revolutions. The US National Academy of Engineering, a select group of America's top engineers, in 1999 published a list of 20 greatest engineering achievements of the 20th century. You could probably guess what is on this list: electricity and its applications, the invention of radio, television, and the internet, the development of fossil fuels, and in turn the invention of the automobile and advances in an infrastructure of roads and bridges, the improvement in agricultural productivity, and the rise of nuclear energy. These have been enormously beneficial to humankind, improving the quality of life, and their adoption happened very quickly, with many of them arising in the lifetime of your parents or your grandparents. But remember what I said about unpredictable effects. As beneficial as these 20th century technologies have been, they also come with challenges and unintended consequences. This was dramatically brought out when the National Academy of Engineering in the US in 2005 issued another list, this time the list of 14 greatest engineering grand challenges of the 21st century. Here are a few of them. Make solar energy economical. Provide energy from nuclear fusion. Develop carbon sequestration methods. Restore and improve urban infrastructure. Prevent nuclear terror. Secure cyberspace. When you compare these two lists, they're really striking. It's really striking how many of the 21st century's grand challenges spring directly from the unpredictable and unintended effects of the greatest achievements of the 20th century in engineering. It is because of the rise of the petroleum-based world economy that we must cope with climate change and our challenge with making solar energy affordable or making carbon sequestration work. The spread of internet connectivity has changed how we live and work. But now we face the problems of securing cyberspace and preventing cyber terrorism. We also deal with new issues related to protecting privacy, confidentiality, and intellectual property. The global air travel system makes it possible for us to jet around the world that allows viruses, bacteria, and parasites causing infectious diseases to fly right along with us in airplanes. A deadly global pandemic could be just one airline flight away from any location on the planet to any other location on the planet. Great inventions often come with unintended